Welcome to Vegan Food and Living's Simply Vegan podcast with me, Holly Johnson, and my co-host, Molly Pickering. Yep, it's the Holly and Molly show. Each week, we'll be ranting about vegan news, raving about new food launches, and responding to your questions on all things plant-based. I also chat to vegan chefs, experts, and influencers about everything from fermented food and nutrition to weight loss, herbalism, and seaweed. Welcome to this week's episode, everybody. I hope you're all well this week. How are you, Molly?
I'm very well, thank you. Not too bad. How are you?
Good. I'm not too bad. I've been a bit affected by world events, I think. I mean, it's just awful, isn't it? What's going on around the world with,
It's hard to see a light, isn't it? I know I'm in such a privileged position to even say that, but
I know.
It's just crazy. I can't even begin to start.
I've started following the plight of the Nowzad charity, which I know a lot of people have. Have you heard about this?
No, I don't think I have.
No. So the guy who runs the charity is an ex-Marine commander, and he was basically out in Afghanistan mid-2000s, and a dog followed him home one day.
Okay.
Loads of strays out there, loads of kind of abused animals and dogs and cats and donkeys and things. So, and he managed to get this dog shipped back to the UK and kind of rescued the dog. And then lots of other service personnel started saying, I found this dog, I found this puppy, can you help? So then he started helping them. And then so he came to set up this charity. And they're stuck out there. He's got 97, 98 staff and all these dogs and cats and donkeys. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I've been following the plight daily. He's been doing lots of Facebook lives and things. And as of today, I think they've all been cleared to come to the UK.
Amazing.
Don't think the donkeys will be going anywhere, but the cats and dogs and all the staff. So
that's a good bit of good news anyway.
It is. I mean, it's just a desperate situation, isn't it? And it's
I just think what we just need to do, as in the privileged position that we are in, all we have to do is commit to giving whatever we can to refugee charities and food donations and stuff, and just because it's easy to feel helpless. And I think we were saying this a few weeks ago with the weather and stuff, and there is absolutely nothing that you can do that, but all we can do is just give what we have, and even if it's a little bit, it all mounts up, and it's going to the people that need it the most.
Definitely. If you go to the government website, actually there's a section where you can kind of put in your area and see what help's needed, so that's quite handy.
Yeah, definitely.
On to the next bit of news this week. There's been a lot in the press about animal testing, hasn't there?
Yeah, what's going on?
I know. So we're kind of possibly about to take a step back, because Britain has been, the UK has led the way in banning animal testing since 1998. It's a really confusing area, isn't it? Because you've got the whole thing with China where products that could be created in the UK or by...
The lines are quite blurred, aren't they? And I think that some of the products could say like vegan friendly, but they are tested on animals. It just means that the ingredients aren't derived from animals, but they're still tested on animals. So the lines are blurred, and it's something that I'm admittedly a bit behind on. Like, I've not really done my research on it, but this news has just sent us back again 20 years.
I mean, hopefully this won't go ahead. There's lots of companies in the UK sort of fighting against it. It's the news that we're considering reintroducing animal testing for ingredients used exclusively in cosmetics. So Boots, Avon, Waitrose and the Co-op have signed a letter to Priti Patel to rule out new cosmetic tests on animals. And the Body Shop as well. So, I mean, it's crazy. Why are we going backwards?
It's so unnecessary. There are so many steps that we've taken that we don't need to use those methods anymore. So why are we reverting back to it?
It's just horrible, isn't it? And I know there's been a lot in the news about the beagles that are still being, used for vivisection in the UK. And come on, let's get out of the dark ages and move on. There's so many new technologies now. We just don't need to be doing this. There's computer modeling, cell cultures, loads of different techniques, science. We've got science. We don't need animals.
Do you know what? I think just what the most heartbreaking thing is, people are so aware of it as well, and they just don't care. They're happy because I think in their eyes, maybe it's cheaper or whatever. And there's still so many people with the mindset of they're just animals. It doesn't matter, which is awful.
Though. Yeah,
it is. It's a horrible thing.
Yeah, well, it's a really good point about look for the, as well as looking for vegan friendly, which shows there's no animal products in the product, such as honey or, any sort of animal fats.
Milk
you also need stuff. You also need to look for the cruelty free symbol. Okay. Reviews. Last week we reviewed Dopsu, and I just need to quickly mention that I said they were only available on Amazon at the moment. They're actually available in Asda and Morrison's, which is amazing. So
amazing. That's good to hear.
Yeah, really good news. So hopefully everyone will be able to spot those at a supermarket near to them soon.
Go.
Sacla have launched a vegan tartar sauce and a vegan horseradish.
Oh, much to my delight.
Round of applause. I really miss horseradish. This is £2.50, available at most major supermarkets. What did you think of the sauces?
So I have a little story. I am obsessed. Tartar sauce and horseradish is my jam. I love it. Everything, every Sunday roast, slathered in horseradish. And the tartar sauce, I wanted to make sure it was with something special. So I kind of wanted to go and get vegan fish and chips to try it out with, because I know that I wouldn't be able to put it up to the mark. But anyway, went yesterday to go and get fish and chips. The shop was closed.
Oh no, yeah. It's weekends, I guess.
I know. They said it on Google, but it's fine. I'm over it now. So I took this jar of tartar sauce with me, and I ended up getting an ooey and was eating the ooey with the tartar sauce.
So what's an ooey?
Have you never had ooey vegan?
I've heard of ooey. Is it a chain, or is it just a takeaway place?
It's Bristol based. They have another location in London, possibly Brighton, but I don't know if I'm 100% on that. So I wouldn't call it a chain. I'd say they got more than one shop.
Yeah.
But they do. So what I had is nowhere near fish and chips, but shrimp dirty fries.
Oh wow.
It was good. It was so good. With loads of scotch mayo on it. I'm going off the Sacla thing, but I had the tartar sauce with that, and oh my god, amazing, delicious.
Yum. Oh, I need to visit this place. Do they just do loads of different things like burgers and dirty fries and stuff like that?
Loads of the chicken burgers I recommend. I think they're gonna start doing tacos as well, and then it's kind of all American foods, like dirty fries, shakes, tater tart, gravy, the lot.
Delicious. Yum.
It cured my hangover, we'll say that.
I really like the tartar sauce. I didn't go to those extreme lengths like you. However,
you're not dedicated.
Dedicated to the cause. However, I did cook a big roast dinner in the middle of summer to enjoy the horseradish with, and it was such a hit that pretty much the whole jar got used up by four of us eating a nut roast in one sitting. So I had to go and buy another jar.
It was amazing. Honestly, I think it's one of the nicest horseradish that I from memory as well. It was really garlicky. I found it was lush. It was gorgeous.
Really yummy. Yeah, definitely a roast dinner staple. So yeah, I mean, it's a little bit pricey, I'd say. $2.50, would you? Because
it is a bit pricey, but I love horseradish.
This is it. It's not one of those things that you can easily recreate, is it? So we're kind of at the mercy of someone else making it for us.
Just do it. I'll take the hit on that.
Yeah.
And the tartar sauce. I'm crap at making tartar sauce. So
yeah. Yeah, I think I've had a go at that before. I feel like that's easier somehow because it's like capers and stuff, isn't it? Whereas I'm unlikely to be grating horseradish and
yeah, I did the tartar sauce myself once and it wasn't good. And I feel like I'm quite good at sauces, but I just didn't do it. Didn't slap quite the same.
Well, yay for condiments. Wicked Kitchen have got loads of new products coming out. Oh my God, they're just churning them out so quick.
It's crazy. I went today because we're going away tomorrow, just to get some snacks and stuff, little nibbles. And they've got loads. They've got like loads of new pretzel pieces, loads of new crisps. Crazy. They're doing bits.
Yeah, it's quite incredible actually. Derek's old Derek Sarno's obviously
old Derek is doing it for the vegans.
Keep it coming, Derek. So we tried the new double chocolate cookies. I think these were available as giant cookies in the bakery section, and now they're available.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, in the biscuit aisle. So these are $1.25, and I'm not a particularly like sweet tooth kind of person, but these were really good.
They were good. Did you get the chocolate orange ones as well?
No.
I got chocolate orange ones.
That's so unfair.
I got chocolate orange and double chocolate. It's because they know how much I like food.
Well, yeah, but I had to share them with 3 other people because even though, like, you know, some of my household isn't vegan, they still really enjoyed them, which is a good sign. So
it was, I think I'm not rubbing it in, I'm so sorry, but the chocolate orange ones were the best.
Oh, were they?
They were delicious, like Terry's chocolate orange, like, everything was good. And I was tempted to put them in the microwave, but they weren't like too crisp. You know, when you get like packet cookies and they're quite hard. Yeah. But they had a good balance. It was nice.
Sometimes they're not sort of gooey, are they? Sometimes they're a little bit dry and flaky, but I found like these were like the perfect balance in between the two. Do you know, talking about chocolate orange, I tried Galaxy vegan chocolate orange.
Are you only now doing this? Are you only now trying it?
Yes. What? You've had it before?
In the long bars?
Yes.
You need to come back to Bristol.
I know. I'm in the sticks here. I've had the other ones, like the
sea salt. They have the sea salt and caramel one.
Yeah. What's the other one? Cookie crumble or something?
So I've not tried the cookie one, but yeah, they have got that. And then possibly another one, but I can't remember. The chocolate orange one is so good.
Yeah.
I'm a big chocolate orange fan.
Oh, I'm behind the times.
Just come to Bristol for a weekend and we'll do a live food test.
Okay. I'll leave like 3 stone heavier.
Yeah, it's fine.
Brilliant. Okay, well, next week we've got loads more reviews, some amazing pickles that are available in supermarkets now, and some new vegan cheese. So keep an eye out or an ear out for that. We've got a couple of listener questions this week, and if you'd like to send any to us, please email me at simplyvegan@anthem.co.uk. We really do love to hear from you and to hear what you think of the podcast, and hear, you know, any questions that you have, any struggles about going vegan or staying vegan. You know, don't be scared to ask us. First question this week is, I'm really struggling to give up eggs. Any tips? I can think of a few things here. I think sometimes when you're really struggling to give something up, you need to almost go back to why do you want to go vegan? Yeah. And if you then kind of learn about where the eggs come from, what they are, a friend of mine calls them chicken periods, which
I don't know why that's made me laugh. I'm such a child.
Well, they kind of are, aren't they? So that was it for me. I mean, never again did I want to eat.
I feel sick. Yeah, not the periods are sick, but you know.
Yeah. But you wouldn't necessarily want to eat them, would you? So so that's a good one. I'm not quite sure this is the advice you wanted, but I'm giving it to you anyway. And also that, you know, the male chicks aren't needed. So when they hatch, they are either gassed or ground up alive, which is horrid. And yes, that's in this country. It's everywhere. So yeah, those are sort of 2 really good reasons to stop eating eggs. And then, egg replacements. Well, God, there's so many things you can do now. I mean, you go to Wagamama, they've even got a
boiled egg, a vegan boiled egg, isn't it?
I know.
Or is it a fried egg? It's one of the two.
I think it's a boiled egg and a ramen.
Yeah. Oh, there's so much. I think, like you said, there's got to be a balance, isn't it, of reminding yourself why you've done this and the step far, and maybe depending how it is, you slowly wean yourself off. Other people, they struggle more than others, and kind of be like 1 day a week, and then you can be like, right, okay, this week I'm not having any, and then you realize that you don't need it. There's so many other amazing things. Is it cracked, just cracked, or just or cracked?
Yeah, cracks with an apostrophe instead of the E, I think, isn't it? Which
I think Just Egg is an American brand, but they're very good ones. I've had the crack myself, and it's really good. I made like scrambled egg or an omelette, and it was delicious.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I make scrambled tofu all the time. We've talked about this before on the podcast, adding nutritional yeast, turmeric. You can also add, if you want that sort of flavor of egg, which is like a bit sulfuric, isn't it? Add, I think it's Kala Namak black salt, isn't it?
Black salt. My boyfriend is a pain for it. When we first got it, he'd put it on everything.
Really?
I would just be looking at him like, what are you doing?
Did he not realise that it was?
No, he wanted to do it. Like, he knew what it was, and I didn't even question it anymore. I just look at it and I just said, don't put it on mine.
Oh, bless him. Yeah, you can get it from kind of health food stores, can't you?
Yeah, I think kind of like independent ones as we kind of got it from, or obviously online. But yeah, that is really good. For me, scrambled tofu with turmeric, I don't know why I don't like it that much. So I just kind of put I make it more like chivy, and I put a little bit of like vegan cream or a little bit of milk in, just to kind of give it a bit of creaminess. But that's also like another alternative.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I tried a vegan egg and cress sandwich from Marks and Spencer's recently, and that was lovely. And that was made with tofu and I think cannellini beans or something like that.
Amazing.
So it's just thinking about how can you get the same texture and the same flavour.
Yeah.
And obviously with baking, there's loads of different replacements. If you just kind of, there's articles on the Vegan Food and Living website, isn't there, about egg replacements?
Loads. I think we've just, recently there was quite a big one now, and it was like the ultimate guide of vegan eggs, and it's so useful.
Yeah, so you can use things like flaxseed, chia seeds, all sorts. So on to our next question. I'm confused about soya. Is it bad for us and the planet or not? Oh my goodness, this is quite a big topic.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I feel like it's quite a hard one to crack.
Yeah, it's quite complicated, as with lots of things. So it's not a quick answer, but I will try to answer this as briefly and as in-depth as I can. So first of all, is soya bad for us? Well, no, it's not. It contains all 8 essential amino acids, which are protein building blocks. It's a rich source of omega-3. It's cholesterol free. It contains antioxidants, B vitamins. It's good for you in loads of different ways. The phytoestrogens, which is what has caused controversy, are in such tiny amounts. They've been proven to not cause any problems for humans whatsoever. They're estimated to be between 100 and 100,000 times weaker than the estrogens that occur naturally in humans or in cow's milk. So let's just, forget about that controversial misconception, basically, that misconception that soya is going to cause you fertility problems or hormone problems. That's actually not true and has been disproven. And then there's the good old, you vegans are hypocrites because you eat loads of soya and soya's killing the planet. No, actually, and if you head to the Viva website and Vegan Food and Living, there's articles on this, but over on the Viva website, it states that meat eaters actually consume way more soya than vegans, because 3/4 of the world's soya is used for animal feed. So when all this land and deforestation is taking place, they're clearing the land to grow soya to feed the animals, not to feed the vegans their veggie burgers. There's way more animals than us vegans. So yes, that is what's causing deforestation. And a very tiny percentage of soya is actually what goes into making things like tofu, soya milk, soy sauce, things like that.
I'm literally learning as you're talking. I'm loving this. Keep going.
Well, this is what you need to arm yourself with, don't you? Because when you first go vegan, people throw these things at you. And I remember it well. I remember actually my brother doing it to me. And I was so passionate about going vegan, and I'm there telling everyone what I've learned and not trying to shove it down their throats, but just going, wow, this is amazing. I've learned this and I've learned
sharing,
this.
Isn't it?
It is.
It's just sharing information. I think that's so exciting for everyone as well. But unfortunately, you do have the odd few that are like, well, did you know that blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, exactly. Not everyone's going to be excited for your newfound information and your new journey. They are going to throw kind of things at you off the cuff that will leave you feeling, this big and you've actually got it wrong.
Make you question everything. But I think at the end of the day, do what you believe is right, and people just need to keep their opinions to themselves.
Yeah. So soya is okay. I mean, obviously, a lot of soy products are highly processed, which we should generally avoid. I know we review lots of processed vegan options on the podcast, but these are designed to be either transitional foods for people that are wanting to cut down on meat, or occasional convenience products, so that everyone has the odd Friday night where they're thinking, exactly. I cannot face cooking tonight. So, they do serve a purpose. So, you're off on holiday tomorrow, aren't you, Molly?
I'm on my holidays. I can't wait.
Where are you excited.
Going? So basically, I can't really say because my boyfriend's in the next room and he doesn't know. But we're going to Wales, but that's it.
Exciting. I hope you get some sunshine.
Oh, me too.
Next up, I'm chatting to Vanita from LaBante London, who talks about the leather industry and the exciting new fabrics that are being used to make vegan accessories. So don't go anywhere, keep listening. Okay, hello, Vanita. Thanks for joining us today. Really looking forward to chatting about all things vegan accessories. How are you?
Amazing. Thank you so much, Holly, for having me.
It's a real pleasure.
I'm so excited about this conversation today.
Yeah, I'm really excited to kind of get behind the scenes of your company. So how did you come to set it up then?
I think it's a great story, Holly, and it goes back a little. So when I was 18 years old, let me actually rewind that. I'd go back to like 13. So I would work in my uncle's factory and in his offices, where he would supply clothing to the top brands in the world. And I fell in love with fashion at a very young age. I was a teeny tiny teenager, and I loved the beauty and the aesthetic of it. But it bothered me with the amount of waste that I also saw. So I knew from a very young age that I would be running a fashion business. But a lot of steps in my life, a lot of events in my life also formulated to where we are at LaBante London today, because by the time I was 18, I would walk to university, I would pass a butcher shop. And it was a live butcher shop. And if you don't know what that is, it's a cage full of animals with a hacking counter on top. And God forbid, every time I passed and a customer came to the shop, the butcher would take his hand, he would put it into the cage and pull out, in this case, a live chicken. Oh. And at that point, there would be a unanimous shrieking like squawk, which would fill the air. And it was only silenced by the hack of the butcher's knife. So the sights, the sounds, the smells, it was too much for me. I went vegetarian overnight. I went literally, I dropped eating meat. I couldn't deal with it.
Where was that?
That was when I was 18. It was in India.
Right.
And by the time I grew older and I actually studied business in America, I knew that when I graduated that I wanted to set up a fashion business. And I knew it had to be cruelty-free. I knew it had to be sustainable because those elements were already in front of me and they were so strong. I could not look the other way. I had to be true to myself.
Yeah. So where did you start then? So you were working in another sort of career in banking, and then so how did you do it? Did you kind of do it alongside working in your old job and then slowly grow it?
Yeah, I wish I'd done that. It's a really good question. So, when I graduated from school in America, it was straight after 9/11, and there were really no jobs. And my uncle's business which really had grown, but there was a point in time when the quota systems were abolished. So a lot of factories with really high quality production went out of business because China plagued the market with really cheap goods.
Yeah.
And that business shut down. So there was no family business, and my family became quite anti-fashion, actually.
Right.
So I landed up after school. The only job I got a job in banking. I took it, great money.
Yeah.
No sunshine, no time for myself.
No. That's the payoff, trade-off, isn't it?
Right, exactly. But then I realized for the hours I was working and the amount I was working, I might as well be running my own business. I literally took all my savings. I put all those bonuses aside and I put all that money and I started LaBante.
Wow.
I was pregnant with my daughter. So, I mean, that was how it was completely bootstrapped, basic, starting from scratch, kind of.
Did your uncle help you because he knew kind of how to run a fashion business?
Initially, he was anti the fact that I was starting in fashion because they knew how hard and competitive it could be.
Yeah.
But I guess as they saw me grow and saw that I'm not leaving and I'm like still at it and persevering, they all sort of came around to support me. Yes.
Yeah. Good.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's one of my biggest supporters today. Yes.
Oh, bless him. So, I mean, how do you go about sort of sourcing, ethical, cruelty-free, vegan accessories?
I think that's a great question. It was really hard when I started out because I started out quite early when there was no social media buzz around sustainable, cruelty-free. I mean, I went into department stores and buyers would laugh at me and they would say, where do you see it placed? I see it placed next to all the beautiful designer bags. And they would be like, but the only, faux leather bag or the fake leather is in that corner and they're all black and peeling and ugly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was trying to break into a market which really did not exist. So I had to create the market for myself. And that meant that the quality had to be top notch. It had to compete with the leather handbags. It had to look beautiful. And it needed to have that craftsmanship of the leather bags because people had that mindset and they were so fixed on having, that. So we really had to travel. What's happened also is that due to the travel, we found great technologies where people in different parts of the world, because of the trade shows, we met a few people. They're making vegetable leathers out of vegetable waste. We met, apple leather, where they're making actually apples out of literally apple waste. In Italy, they use mainly apples for juicing, and then the leftover product is then mixed with some recycled material, some cotton, a little bit of PU, and then you have beautiful hard wearing leather. So we've had to really research, and it's something we're constantly looking into, and we're always driving to find more innovative products, and that's something which is extremely important to our brand. So yes, it's not been easy, and luckily for us, the technological innovations have been so good that today there really is no dearth of material. I mean, from now there is pineapple leather, there's cactus leather. There's a gentleman who contacted me. He's making lotus leather. And I think this is amazing because people really have the right mindset and they're trying to, really drive forward with technology. So that's great.
It's a funny one, leather, isn't it? Because I know an awful lot of people who are vegan now and very, very passionate about animals and sustainability. However, some of them will still buy leather. So maybe fill us in on what is so bad about the leather industry so we can all kind of make the decision to ditch the leather.
I think what the main misconception is that people think that the leather which goes into their products is a byproduct of the food industry.
Yeah.
But the reality is that it is not. And all the television advertising and the marketing, what has been filled so far into people's ears is that it's a byproduct. And the reality is that the handbag industry and the shoe industry and the leather jacket industry, all of these industries are so big that it cannot be a direct byproduct. They actually are farmed and they're killed. Animals are killed specifically to make products like bags and shoes and jackets and various other leather items.
Yeah.
So, and the problem with that is that it's not necessarily done in the right conditions with the right level of empathy for the animals. And regardless of what people might think, it's scientifically proven that even cows are such sentient beings that they cry when they're parted from their baby calves, even just for milking industry. And they know when they're going to the slaughter. So for me, it's never been a question. Snakes in Vietnam are skinned alive for their skin, and they're left in the sun to die without their skin and it takes them about 48 hours to die. I don't think that, and we all know that large, very premium brands which sell for thousands of pounds have been in the news for crocodile farming in Africa, specifically for their crop bags. We all know this, and the only reason that a lot of the couture brands are dropping fur is because of the negative association associated with that. And what that's led to is it's no longer a positive ROI product, which is why these companies say, oh, we're being sustainable and cruelty free and we're going to not use fur, or, so it's all a marketing gimmick, quite frankly.
It's funny, isn't it? Because fur is so sort of, everyone's so anti-fur, yet with leather, it's still an animal skin. I think a lot of people don't think about what it actually is. And when you sit down and think about what it actually is, you think, I don't want this on my body.
Exactly.
It's horrid. So it's a strange one. What about vegans that already own leather? So I have, for example, a pair of leather shoes that I had before I went vegan about 4 years ago. And I'm sort of, sometimes I'll put them on and it feels wrong. Other times I'll be like, oh, I'll just wear them. What do you think? Is it okay to wear leather you've already got or buy secondhand leather? Or should we just be...
I think it's what you are comfortable with. And I think that's individual to individual because the animal is already dead. I mean, I don't see the point of it being wasted. I'd rather somebody use it and get some use out of it, because I don't think it's right that, an animal's been killed, the product's been purchased, has been made. There's no choice. But at least when you're forward looking, and a lot of people don't realize this, is that they go vegan, but they don't actually think of all their choices. It's like a slow process. First, they think about the food and themselves, and then they go think about fashion, which is why it's really been, an incredibly upward journey for sustainable brands like us. But I think as long as the individual feels comfortable, and even picking up secondhand, it's still secondhand. It's been used. It's pre-owned. I think it's fine to give it a further life. And somebody use the product. For me, it's all about using your product for as long as possible. So that's actually the way we design our bags. Also, we try to make sure that the craftsmanship is such a quality that the customer is able to use them for a longer time than other products.
Because when I first went vegan, I stopped buying leather products. Of course, if you need a new bag, often you're going to somewhere on the high street and they're made of plastic. So everyone would be saying to me, oh, but you're now using something that's unsustainable and isn't going to last and is going to end up in the bin. So yeah, that was a tricky one for me.
I would like to really talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a very important point you brought up. And not many people realize that most of the high street uses PVC. And PVC is pure plastic. Like the whole earth, it's not biodegradable. It's the most harmful product. The whole planet will, if it explodes one day, these PVC bags will be floating in space. They're not going anywhere, just to put it into perspective. But if people read the composition of the bags properly, they should say that they've used PVC. Inside, there are usually labels which say what the content is. If you find a product which uses PU is biodegradable. There are bacteria in the Amazon rainforest, and basically it can be completely broken down. PVC cannot. So there is a difference. Large brands who call themselves vegan and sustainable, who say they care about the planet and the animals, use PVC. So it's very important for people to actually think about and understand and research the brand that they're buying from before they buy it. Because I find it quite hypocritical when people say that, they're cruelty free and then they're harming the planet. So it's something we've pledged against. We don't use PVC. And just so that the cost advantage of using PVC is versus PU, it's 4 times cheaper.
Right.
So it's all about the margins. So these things need to be looked into. So it's better to buy PU or other alternative leathers. Like I explained, there's so many options like cactus leather, apple leather. Definitely look at more alternative, more environmentally friendly materials.
Yeah. And presumably they're going to last a lot longer as well.
Exactly.
With the plasticky ones, sometimes it sort of wears and then that's it, isn't it? You kind of throw it to the back of the cupboard and
Yeah. I think that there should be a ban on that material.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. What about the effects of the leather industry in terms of pollution? I think I've read before about the dyes that they use are really harmful. Is that right?
Yeah. So what they use is something called chromium. Chromium has very high levels of mercury. It causes poisoning in the body, and all of that, they have to wash the leather in those materials. So even it goes into their bodies, it goes into the people's bodies, it goes into their hands and legs, and then they get washed on local rivers. So it pollutes the whole river. I would say that the leather industry is one of the worst industries possible, just in terms of pollution. And it's genuinely unsustainable. So if somebody is telling you that this is a sustainable leather bag, please forget about it. Because if somebody is telling you, you're using plastic, I mean, they've not created less damage to the environment, really, by using leather. And that's the unfortunate truth. So the best option would, again, to be look at these premium alternative leathers, or even EU for that matter. Yes.
So they are more expensive, aren't they?
Yes, because the technology is so new and it's very, very innovative. So the thing is, because of that, it's not being used in such a widespread way. They don't have that cost. They've not been able to cheat. It's the same thing like polyester. So virgin polyester is much cheaper to manufacture. So China manufactures a whole load of it, and it goes in like a couple of pence. Versus recycled plastic bottles, which is basically recycled polyester, is more expensive. Crazy, at least 3 to 5 times more expensive than the virgin polyester. So brands who are ROI conscious, and most of them, 99.9% use the cheap polyester. Whereas the right thing to do would be to save the landfills from all those plastic bottle hoards and use recycled polyester.
Yeah. So it's really up to us to vote with our wallets and, invest in these slightly more expensive products because they're going to last and they're much better for the environment.
Exactly.
Do you ever think we'll see a world where animal leather isn't used anymore?
I hope I live to see that day. I hope I'm still around. I genuinely have full faith and confidence in humanity. I think that we as a whole world and a planet are progressing in the right direction because frankly, Holly, even when I started, there was not so much consciousness about sustainability or cruelty free. I started when it was completely like there was no understanding of that concept.
Yeah.
Today, there's a huge buzz around it, and the millennials and the younger generations are driving it because they're actually they realize the amount of level of damage that's happened to the environment, and they are very conscious about issues which are impacting the planet. And my hope is with the younger generation, quite frankly, we need 1 million Greta Thunbergs, basically.
Yeah,
That's
we
what
do. We really do. My daughter's 15 and she's been vegan for nearly as long as me now. And she mainly buys secondhand from charity shops, which is good.
Yeah. And it's the same with my daughter. My daughter is 11 and she also sort of is vegan. She doesn't get enough pocket money to go buying anything, but but she has that consciousness of sustainability.
Yeah. What tips would you give to anyone wanting to start being more sustainable with their fashion?
I think first is definitely research the brand that you buy from. Like you said very rightly, Holly, what were the words you used? They vote with their wallets.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's I think that will really help the sustainable brands gain momentum. Because it's very important because like you said, the younger generation, sometimes they don't have enough money to purchase the more expensive items. And there is a bit of that pull and push.
Yeah.
And this is one of our brand's biggest challenges. How can we make our products cheaper? The problem is when we use recycled polyester versus virgin polyester, that we use the same craft, workmanship as the leather factories, the cost is just that much higher.
Yeah.
So even if you buy less, but you buy them still from the sustainable brands, it's more of a treat, but then it also lasts longer.
Yeah.
And I think this the other element is, just be more conscious, make more conscious of, not only your purchasing patterns as to what you talk to about your friends, so that sort of spread the word about sustainability, because that's how it spreads, right?
Yeah.
There are great movies coming out now like Seaspiracy, which really talk about how unsustainable fishing has become.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important for even parents to sort of watch. I saw this movie with my 11-year-old daughter, and she held my hand through it, just to put it in perspective. But that's the level of engagement we all need.
Yeah.
And we all need to come together and really spread the word.
Yeah. It's hard with so much sort of awful things happening in the world at the moment with Afghanistan and COVID and and now obviously the IPCC report that came out about, red alert for climate change. It's sometimes a bit overwhelming, isn't it? And I think the danger is that people kind of think, oh, I just can't cope with all this and kind of stick their head back in the sand. But we need to be mindful, I think, and keep talking about it and keep the momentum up, because, we are running out of time, aren't we, to sort of try and put right what we've done to the planet.
Absolutely. And I think the younger generation are more environmentally conscious. I actually heard the word environmentally anxious as well.
Yeah.
From one of the millennials I work with. And I thought it was very interesting. But the reality is that the consciousness of sustainability and cruelty-free has risen not tenfold, like 20, 30-fold already.
Yeah.
People are much more aware of sustainable choices available. They know that they exist, whether, that consciousness is spreading. So I have complete hope that the future looks sustainable and cruelty-free.
Yeah, good. We like a bit of hope on this podcast. Well, thank you so much for chatting to us today. For anyone who wants to go and take a look at your accessories, vegan leather handbags and purses and things like that, head over to the LaBante website.
Yeah, it's labante.co.uk if you're in the UK or Europe, and it's labante.com if you're in America.
Fantastic. Thanks, Vanita.
Thank you, Holly.
Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, if you enjoyed this episode, please do share it with a friend or leave us a review on your platform of choice. We're back next week where I'll be chatting to Olivia de Lima, who is up for Best Newcomer at the National Television Awards. She's a vegan actress on the set of Casualty, so she'll be sharing all her experiences with us. In the meantime, you can follow us on Instagram @Simply Vegan Podcast and @Vegan Food Living.